Welcome everyone to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our call it a recap of the first portion of bowl season and our Bowl 3 preview Tokyo Drift. I think continuing with our naming convention.
Tokyo Drift? Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's because
We'll
we
just
did
name 'em.
we did
That's right.
no because we did two Bowl 2 Furious and now we're at Bowl 3 Tokyo Drift. That was the third one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And the
but you still...
fourth one was 4 Fast 4 Furious. What was the fourth one?
Nope.
Sure.
No.
Perfect.
I told you guys I've never seen one of those damn movies.
That's why I didn't know why you wanted to keep naming them after the Fast and Furious.
Because it's
movie.
funnier when we do that with something I
Okay.
don't know.
Sure.
Jordan, I'm beginning to think you don't value family. I'm very upset about this.
Yeah.
You never asked me if I knew how to drift.
I will say that my drifting today, I pulled out Mario Kart Deluxe 8 for Switch. So I'm going to play online for a little bit. And I got shuffled into an Asian server.
Oh no.
And I thought it was pretty good. I'm not.
Nope.
Not compared to anyone with a little Korean or Japanese flag next to their name. I got my ass rolled over. It was not pretty, guys. I've got Yoshi in my favorite cart. I'm going to have some fun today. 20 Waluigis on their fucking like tiny ass wheels just floating past me.
Wow.
You got Tokyo drifted.
Wow.
Speaking of Mario Kart, I hope I'm winning the Best Aunt award because I bought my nephews a Hot Wheels track that has Mario Kart. Like it's the Mario Kart Hot Wheels track along with all
Ooh.
of the characters. And my brother
Oh.
then decided to piggyback on it and buy them more characters, which I'm kind of upset about because he's hitching his star to my wagon.
Yeah.
Hitching his wagon to my star. But anyways, yeah. So I got my nephews. They've gotten very into Mario Kart, so I think they're going to like the Hot Wheels.
I'd like to introduce everyone on the podcast tonight because we've got a whole Brady Bunch worth of faces I'm staring at.
Look at
Tonight.
you actually remembering this time.
I know.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
It's because every time I've cut the last couple of episodes, I've noticed how bad it was. So with me tonight, as always, I have Commissioner Escalante. Then we also have Pitt Girl, Andrew, Michael, and Katie. We'll start with Katie. How are you doing? How's your bowl season been so far?
It's been good. It's been good. It's the short amount I've watched. I watched some games on Friday. I didn't watch as much yesterday, but it's been good.
Michael, how are you doing?
Hey, bowl season started out great. I mean, I know we'll talk about it later, but I was a very happy person Saturday evening.
That was a really good game too. I watched the tail end of it. Andrew, how are you?
I'm great. I was first in the bowl picks pool that we have going for about 6 hours because I picked the first game correctly and did not pick the second game correctly. But we're rolling and going. So
Pitt Girl, how are you doing?
I'm good. I missed most of the bowls yesterday because I was at a holiday party. So I look forward to hearing what happened.
Yeah. Kamesh?
Oh, great weekend. I was able to watch pretty much everything except maybe a piece of the Cure Bowl and some of the FCS playoffs, but on Friday. But I watched the one on Saturday for sure, so I did catch a bunch. I missed the pieces of the Cure Bowl. I was in and out. I was riding on a roller coaster at San Antonio SeaWorld, which is very weird.
Why were you there?
Well, they do the Christmas lights thing.
Yeah.
The entire SeaWorld place, which in some sections it does not smell that great, but
Ooh.
every time I go to San Antonio, the SeaWorld for the lights, which the light display is fantastic. There's lights. There was like Rudolph. There was Santa pictures. Stuff
Is
for the
Rudolph
kiddo.
aquatic? Time out. Is Rudolph aquatic?
No.
I don't know.
He
It's
floats
SeaWorld.
on an iceberg in
Yes,
the movie.
Sure.
Come
Yeah,
on.
that's right. There you go.
That's true.
Semi-aquatic, maybe.
Semi-aquatic.
I think
yes.
reindeer can swim.
Sure.
Sure.
I think they can.
Well, I won't look that
Go
up.
with that.
Okay, no, we're not going to fact check that.
I actually am.
So how was your coaster experience?
So it was fun. We were going around and we finally made it to like this back section of SeaWorld where Santa was. By the time we got there,
Is Santa
You know,
aquatic?
no.
Is there a
don't know.
mer
He's
Santa?
magical, right?
Yes, a Mer
Mer
Oh,
Santa.
oh, I like
Santa.
this. Have they not made an awful Little Mermaid Christmas movie? If they haven't, they absolutely
Oh,
like that. Feels
God.
something Disney would have done in the 90s.
So Santa's in the like furthest part of SeaWorld. Like you have to like go all the way to the very end. By the time we make it back there, Santa's closed at 8 p.m. And we're like, what?
Oh, man.
Okay. So we had to stop for like this Sesame Street parade, which was great. Kiddo enjoyed it. A lot of fun. So we get all the way back there and Santa's closed. So like, okay, whatever. No pictures with Santa. Kiddo's fine with that. There's a roller coaster that's open. Now it's like 48 degrees and kind of windy. And the roller coaster is pitch black. So like there's no lights on the top of it or anything like this. And so my sister-in-law's boyfriend was like, hey, you want to go on this ride? And I was like, this is really stupid. It's cold. Fine, sure, let's go. So it's called the Texas Stingray. It is allegedly the tallest, fastest, not fattest, as you said earlier, longest wooden roller coaster ride in the state of Texas, reaching speeds of up to 55 miles an hour. I am old, all right? So I am the elder statesman here. I immediately look at the signs. I'm like, can I do this? Can I, have back injuries or whatever?
Am I pregnant?
Am I pregnant? Do I have a heart condition?
Do I have a heart condition? Yeah.
Do I have a heart condition? My doctor said I need a backiotomy. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to do this. Now it's cold. So I have like my hood on. I have a Santa hat on. I'm like, I'm going to take this off. So we get on the coaster and immediately it goes up and it's dark. You're overlooking the park. You're looking like San Antonio. You see the lights down below. You have no idea where you're at up on the top of this thing because it's completely pitch black.
I like this.
So I was like, oh, okay. What did I sign myself up for? As soon as we start, you immediately ascend and you start clicking, like the little clicking just going up. And you're like, yeah, great. Let's do this. So I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the first dip. Here we go. And I'm like, okay, it's going to end soon. It's going to end soon. It's going to end soon. I can't see anything. It's going to end soon, this dip. Yeah, it didn't end. I couldn't tell what was coming next either because it was just dark. It was like, are we going to the left or the right? I have no idea. I was like, oh, we're going. Oh, and then they had like a tunnel, which was pitch black too.
So no different. So no functional
It's
difference.
already dark.
I was like, what am I doing here? And so I get off and I'm like, oh my God, why did I do this? I really enjoyed it. And I wasn't like, I'm like, I'm going to be so sore tomorrow. But luckily I was okay. That was ridiculous. Not smart of me.
This has very Hershey Park in the Dark energy, except for the fact that it's not the right season for Hershey Park in the Dark anymore. Have yourself a very spooky Christmas, I guess.
Yeah, that was spooky. That was the word that came to mind for me too.
It sounds like Space Mountain, but without any of the interesting parts.
Yeah, it's Space Mountain and Thunder Mountain combined, because Thunder Mountain's one of the old like wooden roller coasters, and it's very rickety. And
it's not wood. It's not wooden.
Oh, it's not. I thought
no,
it was.
it's made to look wooden.
Okay, got it.
Disney magic.
On the ride, I was just laughing. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm definitely glad the picture part was closed because I can't imagine what my face looked like. Because the picture was at the very bottom of the drop. Of the first drop. And I'm like, I cannot imagine what my face looked like then. And I'm glad nobody tried to hack into SeaWorld San Antonio to see that.
I'm glad you had fun with that.
I'll
talk more about my adventures on Saturday night in a bit when we get to the bowl game that I was at. The first thing I want to do is plug our food drive. I have hooked up with one of the food pantries in Iowa City to celebrate Iowa's Sickos championship. We've already raised over $1,500 in donations. We're rapidly approaching our peak from last year, 2 days in. Remember that we are raffling off a $100 gift card to the Onion store, which we're not affiliated with, but we'd like to give back to someone who's given us also, that $100, you can buy all the Sickos gear that you like from the original source. And yeah, it's one of those things we really enjoy. We're really excited to see how many such people have been excited about it and how many people have been very on board and like also pleasantly surprised. It was like, oh, you guys are doing something nice. How wonderful.
And it was like
people who weren't around for last year.
The Sickos actually do something nice instead of just point and laugh. Ha ha ha. We were contacted by a Cedar Rapids, I believe, CBS affiliate to potentially do an interview for that. So I may be doing that on Tuesday to explain the fundraiser. I want to read some of the dedications of some of the donations we had.
Go for it.
One, of course, you may have to get working on the sound here, but of course it was dedicated to the Quags.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Of course, Brian Ferentz, the Iowa touchdown, where we had the 2 safeties and a field goal.
Beautiful.
One person says, as an Iowa citizen and someone who had to live through that season firsthand, I feel like I need to cleanse my soul with this donation. So whatever this helps, if you need some sort of indulgence for being a Hawkeye fan and watching that season, go right ahead and donate to the Iowa City donation here. It's going to be open. We still got a while to go, and we'll do a raffle definitely after that for sure.
So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to start off with our sort of short recaps of the past bowls. We're not going to talk about them a ton because some of them don't need to be talked about a ton. Like the Bahamas Bowl was wonderful. It happened. People from Miami and Ohio got to go to the Bahamas. People from Birmingham got to go to the Bahamas. They played a football game there. How did that game go? It was fine. The very end was fun, but the first part was not a whole lot of fun.
It's, in my opinion, what bowl season is all about. Terrible football for 3 hours and then 30 minutes of what is happening at the very end.
The end was shades of the Titans Super Bowl, a pass that ended up just being a little too short, and he reached for it and just
that whole drive was a
couldn't
complete
get it
disaster
there.
too.
Yeah,
Just a disaster
it was
of
a mess
penalties
of
and
just
mess.
the last pass was to Jalen Walker, 13 yards. He threw it. He needed to go in the end zone. Miami Ohio needed to go in the end zone. They were down 4, and they just threw the ball short. I don't know why he didn't turn the other direction. That wasn't the route. It was a yard short. He reached for it. It just wasn't there. Birmingham wins. They get the Bahamas Bowl trophy, which was fine. Like, that trophy's kind of nice. That stadium apparently is absolutely bonkers. I'm going to pull up a thread that someone posted about the Bahamas Bowl.
Oh,
We got
I read this
we
earlier.
got an update.
It's so good.
That thread was a joy, and it makes me want to go to the Bahamas Bowl, even though
Seriously.
there is a 0%
We need
chance
a
that
field
it will
trip.
ever go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sickos
Committee
field
meetup
trip,
in the Bahamas
Bowl.
next year.
Yes. And we
We're all
can all
going
just
to
be on the
Bahamas.
sidelines hanging out.
Mhm.
Just walking. hanging out.
Apparently,
Save a couple
So-
bucks, just hop the fence. Yeah.
Yes.
This is
No,
our
you just
thread
walk in.
from our
Because I
thread.
feel like we can BYOB too. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
This is at Daddy Redhawk on Twitter. Daddy Redhawk says, I'd like to share my experiences from the Bahamas Bowl. First off, waste of money paying for tickets. No security. You just walk right in. Greeted by vendors serving the strongest rum runners. I ordered a double and the guy laughed at me. I took one sip and see ya.
See why.
No trash cans in the bathroom. People drying their hands in there with paper towels and leaving them on the floor. I asked the Bahamas Bowl workers what Wi-Fi password and they said, good luck. There's 7 routers and each has its own password and none of them work. That's good. That's your fault for going to a bowl game and being like, what's the Wi-Fi?
What's the Wi-Fi at the Bahamas Bowl? Are you
I cannot
kidding me?
imagine.
To be fair, that is a slightly more pertinent question for a non-media member if you're overseas,
Yeah.
because your data might not work. And how are
Oh,
you
that's
supposed
right,
to live
that's right,
feed
that's
the game if you
Yep.
have no cell signal?
That's
You're
true.
right.
You're gonna
You're
be
right.
paying
Fair.
25 cents
That's
a tweet
fair.
or something.
Well, that's the problem. If we go there, we're gonna have we'll have to go as media. We'll have to go as media.
we'll bring our own.
Done.
We'll bring our own router.
There
I'll
we go.
get you a
Just
AT&T.
one of our
AT&T.
phones is a hotspot.
That's right. A mobile hotspot. Sicko mobile
Sir, what's
hotspot.
in your backpack? Don't worry about it.
Giant satellite.
And then us asking, where's an Ethernet line?
Just plugging into the wall.
What's an Ethernet line?
So
Do
I
you
used
have
to do
DSL?
college radio, and the way
Mhm.
that they call games remotely, actually, like the box that we had, like plugged directly into the wall like that. Like that is still how it works.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
Daddy Red Hot continues. At one point, I just walked onto the field, dapped up Big Ben, picked for evidence, sat on the sideline watching the game for 20 minutes until one guy from the Miami football staff goes, "You can't drink bottles next to the field. Your beer needs to go in a solo cup."
Doesn't care that someone who doesn't belong on the field is there. Just worried about the bottle. That's
Whatever.
great.
So it sounds like they had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you again, Daddy Red Hawk.
Someone else posted a picture of a cup that says, "Let's get flocked up," and it has a flamingo on it from that game.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Everyone in that thread basically said that it is super fun, but it is the most like lax. Don't ask for things. Don't worry
Mhm.
about that. Just show up, enjoy the vibes. And honestly, that sounds kind of nice.
I'm petitioning for a Sickos meetup there for sure. But that's probably because it's an easy flight for me. It's not an easy flight for everyone else.
Bahamas aren't that far. You need a passport. You probably need a passport in the Bahamas,
You
don't
do.
you?
Yes.
You do.
You
yeah.
do.
And you don't need a passport card. You need a
Yep.
passport card? Fine. We'll have to be like one of those like Mac teams and have to get everyone a passport beforehand. You know what? Great idea. Guys, I'll be in charge of getting your passports and documents, travel documents. Don't worry.
I
I'll run it
already
all
got a
through me.
passport.
Good.
I'll take care of
I
your
already got a
flights
passport.
too.
You're fine. I got
I'll
that.
take care of your flights. I'll take care of your.
I
No,
also
I'll-
already have a passport.
it's fine.
I
No,
was
no,
gonna
I'll
say, I
get you
already
new
have
ones.
mine.
I'll get you
I'm
new
good.
ones. It's fine, guys. Just send me your socials and a little bit of paperwork. And I'm sure that with my organizational skills, I'll get everyone there.
Jordan's like, send me your socials, send me your bank account number. I'll just pull the money I need. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And he'll go to the Bahamas without it.
Yes. You're
Jordan,
just
new
gonna see me
VP
there.
of travel.
Just see me there blasted out of my mind on rum runners, wondering where I went. And be like, he probably skipped the country. No, he actually just went to the Bahamas Bowl and got really drunk, gotten $5 rum runners.
Blasted on rum runners, running around with a router, asking where he can plug it in. Just madman. Just an absolute madman.
I love the blue tarp at the end of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like just the giant blue tarp at the end of one end zone. It was fantastic.
It's a track stadium, right?
It is, yeah.
Usually it's a track stadium?
Yeah.
Somebody suggested that they should have done like 2 Bahamas Bowls side by side and put one over the track and just like have 2 fields and 2 games running concurrently.
So that was our first game, and we were kind of pleased with that. And then things got dumb. The Cure Bowl. Played in the soccer stadium in Orlando, not the Citrus Bowl anymore, so it was a little nicer. Had those beautiful purple Orlando FC Lions, whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called.
Orlando City.
That
Lions,
one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Troy won over the Meeps 18-12. It was really beautiful that you had these 2 teams. I realized one started playing football in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and UTSA that started playing football like 10 years ago. And they're both playing in this bowl game. Both conference champions. The only bowl game, they said over and over again, I'm glad they did, the only bowl game that includes 2 conference champions, and was the only ranked
at the FBS level.
At the FBS
That's
level,
true.
yes. And was an absolute just mess of a game. 5 turnovers. Everyone was throwing interceptions.
Oh no, that's 5 turnovers just by UTSA.
Oh, I thought it was
Frank Harris.
No, it was more than that.
No, Troy
7
had,
total.
Frank Harris had a no good.
Troy had 2.
Yes.
God. Frank Harris. Yeah,
Perfect
Frank
game.
Harris just was having such a day. Still threw for 190 yards, but the 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions is not his usual. Now, you're thinking, okay, Troy's cornerback, Gunnar Watson, Detmer Darling, he probably had a day too. Oh, he did. Also, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. No one could. The ball was going to everyone that was not their own players.
Yeah, Troy won with 18 points and 153 yards.
What a perfect game.
And
that
must mean that UTSA didn't have that many yards, right?
Yeah, just 345. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. 12 points.
Yeah, real a low point to yard ratio.
How do you do so little with so much? How do you do
5 turnovers.
That? God bless.
Well, Jordan, I watched the game and they had a dozen points to Troy's 0 at one point.
Yes.
And so they decided that's enough scoring for today. We can win with 12, and then found out that 6 field goals worth of football is enough.
Well, just remember that only 10 of those points were offensive points. The first 2 were a safety.
So you're thinking like,
Right.
12 points, 12 to 18. That's 4 field goals to 6 field goals. That's something kind of weird. Oh, it was weird because the first set of points was a safety.
Time.
It was a quarterback not looking safety where he just went behind him. It was beautiful.
He got just massacred back there. Not the funniest safety this weekend.
Definitely not.
Nope.
So I want to go over what happened to UTSA after they took the 12-0 lead.
Okay.
On their drives. So here we go. UTSA gets a field goal. They're up 12-0. The next drive, interception, and 2 plays interception. Next drive after that, 1 play, kneel, and a half. The drive to open the second half, fumble. Their next drive, fumble. The next drive, interception. They're still leading at this point, by the way. It's 12-7. They're still leading. Finally, Troy takes the lead. Then UTSA punts. Troy gets a field goal. It's 18-12. UTSA on downs, and then on downs again to end the game.
A+ UTSA.
They still have never won a bowl game. They are 0-4 in bowl games.
They've been to 4 bowl games in their
I
short
have a
history.
question.
Yes.
Yes, Blue.
I have a question because we talk about, you talked about historically, Troy has been playing football since the 19th century, but UTSA has only got about a decade under their belt. UTSA, to my understanding, is a big campus in the University of Texas system. Am I close on that?
I think they are.
Population-wise,
I believe
number of
so.
students.
Yeah, they are
big school. And I watched the game, and I'm fortunate to be able to have the time to watch some of these games, whether they're on a Friday in the afternoon, a Saturday, and this game was very well traveled compared to some of the other games. The Meeps really showed up in this game; their fan base did, and on the other side of that stadium, Troy showed up, and the stadium was about as full as one can expect it to be, and it was loud. You could hear both bands playing, and one of the things I think is again, we talk about being at games, the Sickos committee watching everything, the quote of our commish. But like one of the things I really want to stump for is both of these fan bases showed up, whether you've got 10 years or 100. Both fan bases cared, and they were both in the stands, and I thought it was great to see that on top of the game itself.
Yeah, I did some Googling real quick, as you do on this podcast. UTSA across its 4 campuses has 34,000 students-ish, about 27,000 of which are undergrads, which makes it significantly larger than my alma mater.
It's a bit of a commuter campus, but also is. I mean, the reason they brought it to San Antonio is because San Antonio's wanted a football team forever. In fact, they tried to take the Saints back during the Katrina days. That was one of the things they tried to do, was grab the Saints when the Saints were out of the Superdome, and it didn't look like it was going to be rebuilt or fixed.
It almost worked. They almost got it. Like they had paperwork ready to be signed, and the people of New Orleans did everything they could, to their credit, to show how much they love the Saints. So don't think you're safe, any franchise. If a team, if they are wanted by somewhere else, ask the Rams, ask the Raiders, ask the Browns. If they want your team, they'll do what someone else will take your team from you.
And also remember that San Antonio, in their desperation for football, has dabbled in so many alternative forms and alternative leagues. I mean, they even went Canadian for 2 years. Like that's
yes.
Okay.
That's an off-season podcast for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about the history, the brief history of Canadian football in the States.
Yes,
it is great. So we had these 2 games. The Cure Bowl was kind of a giant mess. We're like, okay, this is good. We're loosening up for bowl season. What are we going to do Saturday morning? And it's 10 a.m. Central, 10:30 a.m. Central, and there's football on. It was wonderful. It was the Fenway Bowl. They have wedged, and they've done this before. This is clearly not the first football game in Fenway. That was 100 years ago. This has been done for a long time. So they squish this football field into Fenway. One of the press boxes is looking the length of the field. They have the announcers sort of on this exposed platform halfway on the 50, so they can actually see what's going on, because the radio announcers can't see it. The best part was whatever camera they were using for field goals and extra points was the weirdest angle I have ever seen. It looked like a Dutch angle. It looked like someone's student film.
It reminded me of McGurk Alumni Stadium for UMass last year.
Yeah.
When we watched the UMass and UConn game on Flow Sports, the angle of it was almost like an obstructed view, extra point. And so it was so ridiculous. That's what really it reminded us. We got so many tweets from people who were at this game.
Yeah, shout out to our Boston following. Apparently, we have lots of people in Boston who listen, because there was a lot of people who were like, I don't go to any of these schools, but I'm at this game because y'all told me to be here. Good for you. Good for you.
We made the Fenway Bowl a lot of money.
Yeah, we're exactly right. Hey, bowl season, come talk to us. We'll get people at your games. The trophy that they had was kind of lame. It was like a little mini Fenway, but that didn't matter, because what did they have there?
The keg of nails.
God.
Yes.
This thing has been dormant for a decade, but they brought the keg of nails out. They had it tucked into like a dugout with some backpacks around it first. It looked so cute.
It's just such a funny sentence to type. Hey, our rivalry trophy is in the dugout. I wanted to have Mike talk about what he wrote about this Fenway Bowl trophy a little bit.
Oh,
he went in on this trophy on our Substack. He was so passionate about this. So go ahead and talk about it, Mike.
I hate the Fenway Bowl trophy. First off, the Fenway Bowl trophy is, for some reason, 5-sided. Don't know why, but it is. I guess they kind of wanted to make it look like a baseball diamond, but it doesn't look like home plate because it was spread out too wide. So, first off, that's wrong. Second,
if you haven't seen it, it's in the Discord.
Yeah, it's supposed to be modeled after Fenway Park, but they don't have the green monster on it anywhere, because why would you have that in a model of Fenway Park?
It looks nothing like Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Nope.
They do have
So
the facade of the press. They have the facade of the press box, but if that's supposed to be the facade of the press box behind it, then the field is pointing the wrong direction on the trophy. So like, the details on the outside, on the bottom, are supposed to look like the surroundings of Fenway Park, but the vines aren't there in real life. Like, they have growing on. Like, none of the trophy is correct. And every time they tried to do something that was right, it made it even worse. And so I hate that trophy more than anything I've ever seen in bowl week. Like, this was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Were you able to get a weight for the trophy, Mike?
I have not, because I want to pretend the trophy does not exist. It has negative weight. It has been sucked into a black hole. It is gone.
I think somebody,
as the resident physicist, the black hole will not take away.
Look,
no,
hey,
I think we gotta wait.
Don't you
for the
explain physics
Cagaderos.
to us on this podcast? We don't need your education here.
The game
looks
itself
like
was not great. I'll just say that it was a slugfest. Cincy only had 127 yards. Louisville had 419 yards, but they had 4 turnovers. Cincy had 2 turnovers. There was 4 combined fumbles in the game. A lot of turnovers in these bowl games, which is very entertaining for us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Louisville won the
Through
game.
3 FBS bowl games, we were averaging 5.3 turnovers per game.
Sickos bowl season.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I flipped this game on in the fourth quarter and was just like, is Scott Satterfield regretting his life choices right now? Because I would be.
Also, having the teams on the same sideline also creates that weird. They were having trouble substituting. There was one time, I forget which coach it was, but someone was having to run down the field to get a timeout.
It was Deion Branch, Louisville's coach.
Yeah.
Like, he had to do like a 40-yard sprint. Luckily, he's a former, Super Bowl MVP wide receiver. Deion Branch has the speed to call that timeout. So Louisville picked a good interim coach. I'll just say that.
Have you guys seen the pictures when they did the big air ski jumping at Fenway?
Yes, I'm glad you thought of
Yes,
that.
I've
too,
seen that.
'cause I did
Yeah.
too.
This was a while ago.
Really, just getting the most use they can out of this century-old facility. It's great.
Yeah. Hey, Kamish, since you made a face, I'm going to drop this in the Discord so you can see it.
It's really awesome.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
want to go sledding down that. I'm sure it's a bad idea, but I want to.
Oh, Pitt Girl, I would do that with you. Yes, I want to do it too. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
I'm upset they didn't have any reports in the game. Like, they didn't go on the Green Monster. They didn't do anything for that. They had the guy doing the scoreboard, and he had to change the downs on like the Fenway
my
scoreboard.
God.
They had him in there change, and then I think there was a picture of the Louisville Cardinal in there with like his beak sticking out with the teeth, just like the bird with teeth sticking out. But I can't believe
No birds with
he was
That's right.
changing the yardage manually.
Jesus
He was changing
Christ.
the down. That was just so wrong. Like, just let him do.
I hope they paid that person
the
overtime.
scores. I hope
Yeah.
so too, because that was just so wrong.
But what's crazy is that sign has been there for a century, which means in 1930 something, when the Boston Braves were still playing in that stadium, somebody was
No,
doing that.
there's no way they were doing that at that point. Not
had to be.
for football.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
I'm gonna bet that there was no down and distance markers in 1919 football. That was just not.
I will
for
look
it.
for this.
I'll bet you
I
on
will
that.
look for this.
Let's do it.
Then we had probably my favorite game of the day
Yes.
was the Celebration Bowl.
Oh man,
It was a banger.
it was awesome.
Jackson State rolls in thinking they were going to win it. Second year in a row they did that. The second year in a row the MEAC just told them to get out.
As a proud graduate of 2 different MEAC schools, it's just so wonderful to see North Carolina Central get out there and play tough. And as I have told anyone who will listen to me, since they won the conference, North Carolina Central University is a mean football team.
The meanest stiff arm I saw
Yes.
all day. The
He's
most
stiff-
disrespectful, meanest stiff arm all day.
And that was an
Just-
OT.
Yeah, and just pushed his face into the ground. Second meanest one I saw all day was the mascot stiff arm.
Yes. Well,
Mascot farming that little
Yes.
kid and just
Yes.
absolutely destroying him. But this one, good God.
I really want to stump for this. This is North Carolina Central's 100th season of football, and this is their second Black HBCU national championship. This is a very proud program. They came up from D2, from the CIAA less than 20 years ago. They have really been making a name for themselves. Their coach, Coach Trey, he's a big name. Like, we've all known about him. This came to the surprise of no one within our conference. One of the things I really want to point to, again, they heaped all of this on, they have all this talent in Mississippi, in Jackson. They just 5 stars all over the place. Travis Hunter is having the game of his life, 2 touchdowns, and nobody talked about Richard, the quarterback for North Carolina Central, who he was the player of the game.
Yeah.
He couldn't be tackled. And Jordan and I were talking about this during the game. Jordan said Jackson State doesn't want to tackle it. Like, they don't want any parts of this offense. That is more physical at the point of attack everywhere. And as I tried to paint a picture for people who I know who were watching, who were shocked by this, North Carolina Central wanted to play this game in a phone booth. And they say, you can be fast and you can be talented, but if we are toe-to-toe across the line of scrimmage and we're running at you, then we're not concerned with how fast you are, because it just means you'll get there faster to miss your tackles. And that was the game. That was the ball game. Also, shout out for aggressive play to Coach Sanders. He went for 2. He didn't get it, and that was the difference in the game.
The Mercedes-Benz was absolutely jumping. It was a great environment. They had a record turnout for the Celebration Bowl, almost 50,000 people.
They had Mickey at halftime as a drum major.
Oh my God, they had Mickey as the drum major. Yeah, they did.
That was great.
Yeah, one thing I would like to, I really wish we could get into the ear of some of the folks who produce these games. One of the things they do they do show the bands at halftime for a lot of these bigger games, which I appreciate. I'm an HBCU alumni. We go to city bands, but the way they produce that portion of the game is they have a single boom microphone. So it's not it's not an Omni mic. It's a single boom microphone on the press box sideline. It's about 10 feet tall. It's in the wrong position to collect sound, because that is not how HBCU bands don't elevate. They only play they play to who they think their side is. So if you go to an HBCU game, for example, like you go to Norfolk State, the Legion plays to the press box, to the home side. The opponents play to the visitor side, which is a little bit different than you would get it. Maybe it's like Ohio State always plays to their box, and then Michigan would come out and play to the same side. It's not like that. And that's why when you watch that performance, the sonic boom of the South played to the mic, but the sound machine, North Carolina Central's band, had their backs to the microphone, and they were playing to the visitors, to who they assumed to be where their fans would be. I would like for ESPN or whomever, when I was an undergrad, to get ESPN's attention. They started playing the Sports Center jingle. And that's why you'll see old Sports Center B-roll of the HBCU bands playing the da-da-dun, da-da-dun, because they knew if we play that, that's their brand. That's when ESPN started putting those omnidirectional mics in front of the bands. So if anybody hears me at ESPN, listen, get people out there, get some music people to produce these events the same way the NFL produces the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Try to treat it in that same vein of these are performances and not just happenings.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with the way the band was produced also. They didn't sound very good, and that's just a bummer. Like, that's something that we all want to see when the Celebration Bowl is on, and it was not produced in the way that it should have been and that it deserved, unfortunately.
They had a battle of the bands the night before. If you really want to hear what these bands sound like, and I encourage anyone who hears us, check them out on YouTube. Just look up Celebration Bowl Battle of the Bands. Wear headphones. If you've got a good pair of headphones, put both ears in, because they record it in stereo. And I'm telling you, as someone who has been in person and seen both of these bands play, this is something you want to experience. And just to shout out, just to put the Norfolk State back on the map, the band director of North Carolina Central University is a Norfolk State alumni.
There you go.
So everyone, don't forget to behold the green.
Had to get that in there.
Had to. I will say that I have been on the MAC bandwagon all season. Blue got me there, And once I started putting together, it was the American Circle of Suck that I put together. And I noticed that a game I'd missed, that North Carolina Central beat New Hampshire and beat the crap out of them. And we knew what New Hampshire looked like because they were tearing up teams too. And I went, keep an eye on these guys because they're going to go and they're going to light Jackson State up. And they did. Got it.
Central's a 10-win team. Yeah, they beat New Hampshire pretty bad. But one of the teams that I'm a little bit older, so I'm a little bit biased. My brother went to North Carolina A&T. He's an Aggie. They have been to the recency, to the modern day fan. Like they're the best team that's ever lived. I know a little bit differently, but that's okay. They went and beat up on North Carolina A&T in Greensboro. This is Central's biggest rival. This is A&T views them as their biggest rival. And that's when I knew, I said, this team is serious. Y'all better watch out.
So we'll move into the afternoon. We're going to come back to the D2 game, the Las Vegas Bowl. Beavers won big. That's the story. And Florida kicks the saddest field goal I've ever seen to keep their unshut-outable, whatever you would call it, not shut out streak alive.
Their scoring streak.
Scoring, there you call it, yes.
There you go. They're not the unshut-outable.
Unshut-outable, that's a word.
That works.
It is now.
Look, I think it's really a shame. These bowls should be ashamed to put a small, underfunded, Southeastern program against a literal buzzsaw
Of the Beefs.
A double-digit winning program.
I love you so much for this right now.
From the Pacific Northwest. I just, we have to really do something about these bowl games. I don't think it's fair. And you know what? I think the real orange was shown out in that game. That's what happened.
Just keep going. What happened?
For me, please.
It wasn't even.
Katie's
like,
a Florida State fan, right?
Katie's super happy. This wasn't even close.
No,
they got palindrome.
They did.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice this was a palindrome. It's even better.
I mentioned it on the Discord. I said they got palindrome.
The Beavers just crushed them. There was their tea retrieval guy, Bullseye, running out to get the tea. I think Parker said he wanted Red Lightning versus Bullseye in a foot race. And we may need to have that happen. So definitely. The saddest field goal known to man with 37 seconds left in the game. Florida kicked it. The funny part about that, they wanted to fire Napier after this game, of course.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Look, I just want to stump for the fact that Billy Napier is a former HBCU assistant. So
where was he at?
I want him to be. He was at South Carolina State under legendary coach Bobby Pugh.
This was a massacre.
I feel like Oregon State and Fresno State needed to play in either one of the bowls and switch. The only problem is they played the craziest game, like 32-31 game, like in Fresno earlier this year. So they didn't want a rematch of that. And then because of that, we got these two mismatched teams essentially in the bowl game, in the Las Vegas Bowl and the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
That was so.
You don't have to give Jimmy Kimmel any credit.
This is the Jimmy Kimmel. This is a Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl sponsored by Stifel, who we learned was a wealth. Whenever the person came out like, "Hi, I'm from Stifel. We do wealth. We do wealth opportunity financing, and we are leadership. Whatever. I don't care. Stifel.
Yeah, your pronunciation of this makes it sound like an on-demand tissue delivery service.
Right.
I only know because it's in my industry. Stiefel is what it's called. Yes.
Stiefel.
Got a stifle.
I had the whole game on mute, so I thought it was stifle.
I have a question. How long has it been the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl? Is it a while?
It's been a couple years.
It's only
been around for 2 years.
It's only been around for 2 years.
Okay, that feels bad then. Because I was like, Jimmy Kimmel. Wow. Okay.
No, Brandon.
Jimmy Kimmel gets it though.
He was there.
Besides the fact that he was a little weird on some of the interviews, he's trying to be funny and it fell. Like at least he gets that the bowl thing is goofy. And he went, you know what? These bowl games are, if I'm going to buy a bowl game, I'm going to put my face and name everywhere, which honestly is the right idea. That's what I would do. Like make it something goofy, fun. You use the money to make sure the kids have a lot of fun, but you also you're not the Rose Bowl. Don't try to be the Rose Bowl. You're not the Rose Bowl of the East. Don't try to be the Rose Bowl of the East. You are just the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Sure. Why the fuck not? Fresno State absolutely just put their foot on Washington State's neck and refused to let go.
Jake Hayner
they put him in a sleeper hold.
Jake Hayner had a great day.
It was ugly.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Like, I thought like Wazoo would be feisty, but like it was bad. Like, Wazoo didn't turn the ball over much. The quarterback Cam Ward pulled in Orlovsky safety, which, you know, running out the back of the end zone, and we really love that here at the Sickos committee.
Thought the play was still alive, too.
Yes. I don't think he realized it either.
Like Orlovsky did.
Like Orlovsky.
Yeah, and if you watch the ref just nonchalantly watched him do it and was like,
"Yep."
he didn't like blow the whistle immediately. He was like, "Did that really just happen? Did we have another Dan Orlovsky?"
Fresno State had 500 yards to Washington State's 182, and Fresno State passed and ran for about equal numbers. They were just all over the place and just held Wazoo down and didn't let him go.
One fact about Fresno State:
9-game winning streak.
They are the first team in FBS history to start 1-4 and win 10 games in a season. So congrats, Fresno State.
Beautiful. Let's move on down the list to the Lending Tree Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
It's Mobile.
Wait, what?
In Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile.
Oh,
by the way, I wanted to correct something when you said the GMAC, Mobile, Alabama. It's GMAC. You read all the letters.
What is GMAC? What is GMAC?
It's General Motors, basically their financing arm.
Okay.
So it's GMAC is
so GM. So the GMAC.
And it's Mobile. I have listened to that clip at least like 10 times of you mispronouncing.
Someone made a good point. Someone made a good point that was like, it's funny because he doubles down.
Yes.
It's the doubling down that's funniest, is that he digs in on his wrongness.
It's even worse because you're tripling down because you have edit access to the audio.
I could have cut all that. I could have trimmed it and make myself look good.
This is a great point.
Yes.
And I'm like sitting here going, I'll let the world prove me right. And the world's like, no, fuck you, man, you're wrong. The Lending Tree Bowl means that Rice has the most beautiful record you can get in college football. One of the most beautiful, 5-8.
They match Rutgers of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they do.
The story you need to know about the Lending Tree Bowl, 2 stories. One, Rice was way down and came roaring back. And then Frank Gore Jr. Holy hell.
Yeah, Rice was down 17-3 at halftime. Then Rice rattled off 21 unanswered points, lightning fast in the third quarter, to go up 24-17, and then that's all they scored. And Frank Gore Jr. just ran all over them.
He threw for 1 touchdown and ran for 2.
Of course.
Because of course he did. Because it's Southern Miss and that's how you play.
He set a record for rushing record, most rushing yards in a bowl game with 329 rushing yards.
Ever. Like history of bowl games.
Of all the bowl games. Set that record. And that's definitely a school record too. That's a big win for their program, as the coach said.
And he's coming back.
He's coming back.
He made it very clear he's coming back. Funny part about this game was at the very end, because this is one where Frank Gore's aunt came out and like tried to give him a hug, and he's
While he was being interviewed.
And Frank Gore Jr. stiff arms auntie, just like
so good.
Boom.
It was so good.
Oh, it was so
Auntie,
good.
chill.
I have a friend who has a nephew on the Southern Miss team, and I texted a video of Frank Gore Jr. in the interview, and I was like, hey, this is so funny. He's like, oh yeah, I know, I watched it live, whatever. And he said that his nephew later on texted him and said that the chill auntie went out partying with him after the game. So I love her.
Hell yeah, she did.
Love her.
Oh,
Adore her.
oh.
Yeah.
Yes, auntie. She was ready to party. That's why.
Oh,
she was
totally. Yeah.
Come on, forget this
As
interview.
she should be.
Forget this interview thing. Let's go party in Mobile.
Yeah.
We're gonna get drunk on the battleship.
Would they let you do that? Because I would totally be down for that.
I don't think so. I think the park closes at a certain time, but that'd be pretty cool.
Not if you win the Lending Tree Bowl. The Lending Tree Bowl, I feel like you should be allowed access to whatever you want in Mobile.
Might be some extended hours. Yeah.
Oh, special bowl privileges.
Let me up in like the what do you call the top of a boat? The galley? No.
Crow's
the deck? No, not the deck. The place where you drive. That's where you drive the boat. That's where you drive the boat. Where do you drive the boat?
I guess it's a pirate ship.
Where do you drive the boat from? The aft? The aft deck?
You steer a ship
Yeah.
from
the helm.
the helm.
Okay. Is that you call it the helm room?
No, the helm is in command.
Okay.
Are you looking for the word bridge?
Bridge
of a ship.
Bridge is what I wanted. Thank you. Bridge is what I wanted.
Leech would be very disappointed.
I know.
So disappointed.
It's not a spaceship.
I don't come from an aquatic family, guys. We're a very land family. Okay.
So he didn't know anything about Mobile Bay.
Bridge, nautical, also known as the pilot house or wheelhouse, is the room or platform of a ship from which the ship can be commanded. There we go.
I'm going to call it the wheelhouse. I call it the wheelhouse. I feel like on a battleship you'd have a wheelhouse, just a giant wheel. I'm thinking Steamboat Willie, basically, of just a little happy mouse guiding a battleship with guns.
Dude, that USS Alabama is insane. It has like huge cannons and guns, and I'd like to just sit on one of those and drink and celebrate the victory of the Lending Tree Bowl.
Like straddling one of the guns with a beer.
Like the old man with the cowboy hat, falling out of the plane.
Dr. Strangelove,
bomb, doing exactly that doing that on the battleship.
And if you win the Lending Tree Bowl, you should be allowed to do that.
You should be.
You should be allowed to take. You should be allowed to take the ship out for a spin around the bay.
You get the key to the city of Mobile.
You get the key to the boat.
The USS Alabama. The USS Alabama was retired not that much longer after World War II. She's not going anywhere.
Is it actually in water or not?
It is. It's in water.
She is in the water, but like all of her capacity to move has been
whatever. That sounds like quitter talk.
We don't use them anymore in the Navy, so it looks like
it is bounded in by concrete, so that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Figure that out. It's fine. Clearly, as much as I know about boats, I can take care of this. you know the opening.
Calling the USS Alabama a boat.
The beginning of the first episode of Arrested Development, where they bring Buster in with the map, and they're like, "Okay, you had 10 years of cartography lessons," and he goes like, so the green stuff is water, right?" And that's me.
All the nautical people listening to this podcast are going to be so mad.
They don't use maps. They don't use maps on ship either.
You had a map, and you have a little compass thing.
Drive.
They're called charts on a ship because there's no land.
What year?
Land is for maps.
It's a different year.
The chart is for the ocean.
Jordan, I want to take you fishing with my dad so badly, just to hear the commentary. Oh, it'd be so great.
He's gonna show up with a sextant. And a little skipper's hat and boat shoes.
Well, I've got boat shoes set. I've got several pairs. What color do you want? What color do you bring? Because I got purple, pink,
home field green
brown. Yeah, I got pink, purple, brown. I got a blue pair.
So
but a sextant would be great, like an astrolabe. What longitude are we at? Let's see here.
If you show up with one of those stones the Norse use, and they navigate by solar. Great.
Guys, you're selling. Whereas Beth always says she's the hilljack. I told you guys that I'm not the person that's gonna shoot the bears. I'm not meant to live outside. I'm an indoor cat. Okay, I'm very clearly an indoor pet. I'm an indoor pet.
Not seaworthy.
You have an automatic feeder and a water bowl that fills up by itself.
The only water comes with the consequence.
Yeah.
That's right.
Honestly, me too. I'm an indoor cat too.
Don't get Jordan wet. He doesn't like that.
That is how we end up with a duplicate evil Jordan. We also can't feed him after midnight.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, then it's just problems. Well, if you feed me after midnight, I just get really fat, so I have to watch out for that. So after all this, we have the New Mexico Bowl, our beloved New Mexico Bowl, with the most beautiful trophy and the most beautiful stadium.
What a great game it was too.
Yep.
So, Michael, how are you feeling about how are you feeling about the New Mexico Bowl?
I have no idea how BYU won, but I'm happy they did. I watched that game, and after watching it, I still don't understand how they ended up with more points than SMU did. But I mean,
hint: it was their quarterback.
Yeah.
It was their quarterback.
He needed 47 yards of passing, and he used every single one of them perfectly.
Did he even complete a pass in the second half?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
No pass completed in the second half.
It's his first game ever.
Michael, I just want to... Those helmets were...
Gorgeous. Perfect. With the Sailor Coug on it. Oh yeah. Perfect.
And then it transitioned. If you in the light, if you turned, it would be blue. It was great.
So that was
Their leading receiver had 27 yards.
Oh yeah. So the quarterback, the BYU quarterback we're talking about is Soljay Maivia Peters. Maeva Peters. He was also their leading rusher.
He was the entire offense, also mostly because half of our offensive line was out. 2 of them transferred. All of our linebackers transferred out too. We also fired our entire defensive coaching staff. So I do not understand at all how this worked, but Soljay was awesome. I mean, for never playing ever until Saturday, that was awesome.
And SMU brought Tanner Mordecai, threw for 218 yards, didn't throw any ints, 2 TDs, and still couldn't make it work.
He had 1 INT.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not seeing it here. Okay.
I was starting to get reverse 1980 Holiday Bowl vibes, where BYU was down by 20 with 5 minutes to go and then came back to win. And this was so close.
another 1-point game
on the reverse that. Yeah.
This was also a weird one because it was at night, which the New Mexico Bowl's never at night. This is because the Vegas Bowl had to get moved, and so it was weird. I was at your late night game. I was at the Frisco Bowl with press, and that was a lot of fun. This is my second year doing it. I went up to the press box. There was this older gentleman telling stories to anyone who's in like a radius around him, and I accidentally sat down just within that radius, so the stories became directed at me. And he asked me at some point. He tells a story about how kids these days are too soft, blah blah blah. One of those, and he goes, "Well, what sport did you play?" I go, "I was in band." He goes, "That's something." I just turns and keeps like,
at least that's something.
I'm just gonna sit here and keep eating my barbecue. So I actually spent most of the game this time on the sideline until it got chippy. I was sort of in the not quite in the middle of one of the fracases, but real close. And I decided at that point, I'm gonna go sit up in the stands for a little bit. It was a lot of fun. Eventually, the first quarter was pretty lame. It was just a low-scoring game. No one really knew what they were doing. But then it picked up again. Boise State ended up winning the game at the very end. They hit a big stop against North Texas. None of this is important. The important thing is I got the best picture in the world of the saddest Eagle mascot you've ever seen. I had never noticed that Scrappy looked so sad because this is the mascot. Like I remember him when I went to North Texas for my grad degree. Like I'd been there for a bit, but this Eagle looks so sad. Like his girlfriend had just told him that she'd like to see other people, or that I don't know how to describe the look. Someone described it like the Anui Husky, just on an eagle face.
Yeah, it's a shocked sadness.
Yeah. It was just
somebody
so
just
funny.
told him somebody died or something, and he's just trying to fight through the day and not cry. That's what it looks like.
The eyes are locked off like 50 yards off. It's like a locked off stare.
He looked like he was the straight man in every joke that was being told that night.
And it didn't help that the Broncos mascot is like mouth open, like happy, like angry, aggressive, and the eagle just looks slightly worried about things. I also found out that so Boise had a band there, but it was not their band. They hired one of the local high school bands, and they sent them all Boise State gear. So they showed up wearing Boise State hoodies and Boise State beanies and learned their fight song and did all this stuff.
Florida State did this once in our really bad days in like 2006. I think it was 2006 when we played in whatever bowls in San Francisco. We hired a local band. That was a really low point.
It's not super uncommon. It happens sometimes when
it happens pretty often in basketball, honestly.
My freshman year at Pitt, that happened. I remember the Weber State band learned Pitt's fight song for the NCAA tournament, the men's tournament. And that also happened once my senior year, and I forget why, but the Pitt band was offsite. No, I don't remember. Pitt band was offsite. Anyway, the Duquesne band learned our fight song and played the basketball game that was going on.
Nice.
And there's this whole thing at Pitt about the bridge for the fight song, which doesn't get played anymore because the fans will spell and chant Penn State sucks. And the current band director is a Penn State alum, but the Duquesne band doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And they played it. And it was awesome.
So I want to say thank you to the Frisco Bowl for having us there. I actually got credentialed to another game. I'm going to the Armed Forces Bowl next Thursday night, Baylor and Air Force. So I'll be there on the ground for that as well. So that should be a lot of fun.
That should be fun.
I'm also glad that old dude did not ask me what media outlet I worked for. So our other games we had this week, the first one, I have nothing to say about this game except that it happened. The NAIA championship game happened. Kaiser from Florida beat Northwestern from Iowa. Northwestern.
No, Northwestern won.
Yeah. Oh, did I say beat? Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, you said beat. Yeah, I was like, no.
Kaiser from Florida played Northwestern from Iowa, and Northwestern won.
It was a good game. I watched it. It was on in the quad box.
Oh, man, you watched it? Okay.
It was good. I was able to quad box again. It was great. It was a lot of fun. ESPN had everything.
I got to ask, what position in the quad box was it?
It was the upper right-hand corner.
Where's your primary game go?
So upper left. So, well, I can actually, like, whenever there's a commercial, I can just move the sound around. Which is cool because you could just basically, I want this one to have the sound now, so all the commercials. But yeah, there was one game like froze on me on one of the commercials in the bottom left, and it was just like this weird alien looking dude that had like the green whatever, like the motion capture. I can't remember what commercial it was.
Yeah.
But let me send you, because I
think it's a Geico commercial.
It's like supposed to be for a movie. It's a fake movie. It's what if your special effects don't show up?
This guy was in the corner. Like he was in the corner for her. I think this is the point when...
It looks like Billy Napier is staring at him.
Yeah, it does. This was right before Florida kicked the sad field goal, so it's just like, oh.
So then we had the D2 championship game, which I went to. It was at the McKinney ISD Stadium, and I went to the game. It was a lot of fun. Colorado School of Mines fans showed out. That side of it was packed. Ferris State showed up, did pretty good too. This is their second year there, but Colorado School of Mines was there. And they were loud, even when they were down 27, they were down however many. They ended up getting palindrome to 41-14. Ferris State had this in the bag. The only thing Ferris State looked weak at was their pass protection was a little bad, but it did not matter. Ferris State also plays a 2-quarterback system, like legitimately. They have a running quarterback and a throwing quarterback, and they play it very well. Ferris State wins the D2 championship. It was a lot of fun. That game just felt like you rolled up, got in the stadium. It was nice. Took my dad. The first time he'd been to a football game in ages. It was a lot of fun. Other two games we had this weekend were the D2 it's not D2. Oh, if I say that, people are gonna yell at me. The FCS semifinals. The first night.
We prefer to be called FCS now.
Yes. I almost Kamish put D1-2A here, and I almost said that, and that'll get me yelled at too.
Even though it's LSU football.
I know it's LSU football. I know LSU football uses that, but that's not what they use anymore.
We don't go by that anymore, and haven't since 2007.
It's been a long time.
So come on, since LSU website folks.
Let's say like that was when I was in college.
That website hasn't been updated since 2003 anyway, so
no.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the code there is like a guest book and like a counter. You're the 40 millionth person to visit this page.
Honestly, LSUfootball.net's rejection of modernity is one of my favorite things about it.
Mm-hmm. It used to be how like FARC was back in the day when FARC just refused to update and they were just it was just frames and HTML and nothing else. The first FCS game we had was Incarnate Word, North Dakota State. Our good friend CFB Campus Tour tried to get to this game, but was stopped at stopped by weather at the North Dakota border because there was just no way to get to Fargo. If you were not in Fargo by Thursday, you were not getting to Fargo for this game, basically, because North Dakota was under snow and ice.
So which border is this? Is this the border coming from South Dakota into North Dakota or from Minnesota into North Dakota?
I think he flew into South Dakota. And then
it was any of the borders? I have a cousin that lives in North Dakota, and literally all of the roads were closed. Like, she wasn't allowed to leave her house.
Incarnate Word had it, and it made me so angry they didn't have it. Incarnate Word went up big, and they never quite put in the final blow, and they let North Dakota State stay in it. And you can't do that with North Dakota State. You can't do that because they will just continue to survive. I'm trying to find how much they were up by. Give me a sec.
They were up 16-0.
Yeah.
And they had a chance to go up 22-3 or like 23-3. And they had a fourth down and goal at North Dakota State's 1 yard line. Or I'm sorry. It looks like he scored, but then they overturned it. Mm-hmm. So they were up, and then they overturned it. And then 4th and 1, they set to go, and then they bad snap, fumble, and North Dakota, recovers it at the 16. And then the Bison just started rolling from there. They woke up after that point. If UIW puts in a touchdown there, I don't know if the game goes the same. They still fought, which I thought UIW was done when North Dakota State goes up like 24-16, but they fought back, which was fantastic.
This is our man with the 7-year plan, Lindsey Scott Jr.
That's right.
Absolutely going crazy. Threw for 282 yards. Incarnate Word had 539 yards and lost us by 3.
But 4 turnovers, and then they didn't get that fumble, which there was no explanation for whatever that fumble was, which was
that was a weird one.
I think you tweeted just, what?
This is one where everyone was watching it. Like this had all eyes for some reason at this point. I also didn't realize Incarnate Word is the most penalized team in FCS. Like by yardage per game, they are the most penalized team in FCS. So they've been doing this with basically, a boot on their foot. I'm going to ask y'all a question, and y'all can just shout out an answer here. North Dakota State had 333 yards. 333. How much of that was passing?
Not
under
much.
75.
Yeah.
Like 40.
Yeah.
30.
Cinco, 5.
Oh my God.
5 yards of passing.
I knew that.
Wow.
Until I waited for everybody. I was like, oh my God. They
were
5 yards.
They were 1 for 12 on passing.
Navy like.
They were 1 for 12.
Navy's completion would have been much longer than that.
True.
They had 2 guys with over 100 yards of running. They just ran Incarnate Word over. Their defense got tired. They were out there for too long. And
Drives,
North Dakota State just started doing what they wanted to do. This led to the tradition in North Dakota State is when they win this game, they play, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle with a band.
Yes.
And they have a fiddle out in the field. And Cody, what's his last name? The Ginger Giant.
Mach? Something like that. I don't know. I can spell it, but not pronounce it.
Yes.
They gave him the fiddle. And there's a great picture of him. Let me find it in the timeline real fast. Kamish, keep talking about this game real fast.
So great.
It was a great game. I'm really upset because this Friday was just a bummer for San Antonio. Like UTSA turning the ball over 5 times, Incarnate Word turning the ball over 4 times. It basically both teams should have likely won their games, and they blew it. So the city of San Antonio was a little upset, and you could kind of feel it in the air, in the cold, chilly air of Sioux World, San Antonio.
Dropping this in the Discord for y'all. He's clearly never held a fiddle before.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But whatever.
It's amazing.
They had cowboy hats out there. They got fiddles for everyone. And it was great.
He's so focused.
Other FCS game, however, was outside in Brookings, South Dakota the next day. It was -8, I believe, with the wind chill.
Negative 18?
18.
Yes.
Beer cans were exploding.
Yes.
And both teams looked miserable. I've never seen a field look that cold. I know it's AstroTurf, and that's already a hard surface, even if you would little rubbery things underneath. But when all that's frozen and you hit that, ouch.
Yeah.
And they were sliding all over the place. They were making snow angels and the snow mounds on this. Oh, it was so great, guys. South Dakota State won it, which means that for the FCS final in Frisco, Texas, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. First time they've ever met off in the finals.
So North Dakota State has 9 titles. South Dakota State has 0.
And South Dakota State is on a 4-game win streak now against their rivals. Maybe 3, maybe 4. This is going to be a fun one, y'all. I'm super excited about this game.
They beat them earlier this year.
23-21.
So I watched that game.
As a side note, I love their helmets. And
they were so good.
That South Dakota State is comfortable enough with their masculinity to make mascots slightly adorable. It's just, it's my favorite thing. It's so good.
So South Dakota State is on a 3-game win streak going back to 2021. I'm excited. I'm going to try to go if I can. But those tickets for that game usually are really expensive, like $150.
North Dakota State buys them out months in advance because they know they're going.
The Bison, as I learned. So we are done with our recaps. Let's get to some new bowls now. We've got a couple of bowls we're going to talk about. So we're starting off on Wednesday, December 28th. The first one is the Military Bowl. Duke versus UCF. Duke has had a year that I'm comfortable calling good.
8-4.
8 wins.
That's Duke good.
Duke good.
And UCF had a season which we'll call okay enough.
Good.
Strange.
What was UCF's weirdest loss this year?
Louisville?
Yeah, probably Louisville.
Navy.
Oh, the Navy loss.
It's Navy. Them screwing around with South Florida also. They didn't lose, but...
Well,
yeah, that was fun.
I actually have to think about that some more because they lose to Navy like regularly, so it might not actually be that weird.
Right. So the Military Bowl is our bowl in... Sorry, I have to pull up all my bold stuff now.
It's in Annapolis. I've been there.
It's
okay, this is going in Annapolis.
It's in Navy Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Is it sponsored by
Military.
Periton? No, but what's Periton?
Northrop,
Probably a defense contractor. It's almost
It
always
is.
sponsored by a defense contractor.
Periton is a government contractor big in both defense and
There we go.
intelligence here in the DC
Space,
area.
intelligence, cybersecurity, defense, homeland security, and health.
I'll buy
Periton-
2.
Hello.
Periton says its name is a construct of the prefix per, which means thoroughly, and the word imperative, reflecting the importance of its customers' missions.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Right now they're in Annapolis, and they're the Periton. Sorry, the military bill presented by Periton. Let's see where else we're going to send them. We've got number 27, the Brothers Alarm Bowl in Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field. Quote, who wants the police to be showing up at your house just because you forgot to turn off the alarm before you open the door? No one. That's why the Brothers Alarm Company, we don't call the cops, we call your brother. That brother that you never knew you had. We provide a very large brother with the skills necessary to handle whatever situation you find yourself in. He's your family that you never know you needed.
I have questions.
Okay?
I don't even know what they are right now, but a lot of them. Wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
we can either send them to Annapolis or Detroit. I assume we're doubling up on Ford Field, which I assume they're fine with.
Is this really okay? I've seen like a John's Brothers security company.
Mhm.
No, there is a Brothers security. What? Okay.
That's not what I based it off of, though. No, this was a random one. I don't know how this came up with.
Yeah, I did. Okay. I was just curious if it was a real. So
This is do not
Either way,
break
we got
into
lots of
my
security.
large-built son's house.
What did I get for going to Detroit here?
I assume they get to I don't know. What do you get? What do you get from an alarm company? Do you get one of those like alarm bracelets?
You get to play in a dome.
You get to play in a dome, which is nice.
That's true.
That's true.
I assume one of the skills competitions is walking through confidently and trying to do a 6-digit code on a keypad before
Perfect.
it goes off blaring.
Sorry.
You ever opened a business?
Getting through an area without turning on motion sensing
Yes,
lights.
that'd be fun.
That's a good skills competition. I like this. Okay,
Movie
Pitt Girl,
entrapment.
are we going to send them to Annapolis or Ford Field?
We are going to keep them in Annapolis because Detroit doesn't need another bowl game. And Annapolis is actually pretty fun as bowl games go. I had a good time, and the weather was real crappy the time that I went. So,
I'm going Annapolis too. Yeah. I think I'm going Annapolis.
I mean, UCF has already played against Navy, so I'm going to put them to Detroit because they already know what that's like.
That works. Andrew?
Let's keep them in Annapolis. The high on Wednesday in Annapolis is going to be 42 degrees. So let's do that.
Blue?
I'm sending them to Detroit. I say the 2 bowl games at Ford Field, put both of them on the field at the same
I like that.
Yes. I also like that idea.
Kamish?
I want to keep them in Annapolis. I want to see the Florida team play in cold weather. I'm mean.
Mhm.
And
We're putting them in
and
That's what I
Annapolis.
want,
I hope you guys enjoy Florida. I hope you enjoy that.
Sorry, I want to dump crab cakes on whoever wins the game, and they get free Old Bay vodka.
Ooh, yeah. Has there ever been a crab bowl?
Ugh, there should have been.
There's
If
a
there
bowl,
hasn't.
there's a game that the trophy is a bucket of crabs. We've seen this.
Yes.
I think Blue found
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Old Bay should be sponsoring
The
that.
Crab Bowl. Okay, so the Crab Bowl is actually Maryland versus
Okay.
Navy.
And their trophy is like a bucket of crabs or something.
I
Yeah.
remembered that.
Yes.
So on Wednesday as well, the 28th, we have what's one of our favorite bowl games.
Hey, Jordan, hold on. Does Katie need to go?
I do.
Okay.
Can we do
Okay.
Florida State, Oklahoma before I leave? Or
Yeah, sure. No, let's just jump
you
down.
mind?
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Sorry. Thank you. I'm going to the game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then
Next.
I promise I'll, yeah.
Next on Thursday, we have the Cheez-It Bowl. This is not the Cheez-It Bowl, your children's Cheez-It Bowl. This is not the OG Cheez-It Bowl. This is not the Cheez-It Bowl that we all love near and dear that produced that TCU abomination, Wonder. This is the sanitized Cheez-It Bowl.
Yes.
And we have Florida State and Oklahoma. Katie, how do you feel about this Cheez-It Bowl?
I actually feel good, which is probably a bad sign. I feel okay. I'm going to the game, which is probably also a bad sign, with my parents. So it'll be fun.
Fun.
Just so we all know, this is the game that is also the Blockbuster Bowl, the CarQuest Bowl, the Micron PC Bowl, the MicronPC.com Bowl, the Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl, the Mazda Tangerine Bowl, the Champ Sports
No, wait.
Bowl.
This is not the Tangerine. Wait.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it's the Tangerine Bowl, is it?
This is the
Yeah,
Visit
this
Florida
one.
Tangerine Bowl, which is different than the
Okay.
other Tangerine Bowl.
Yes.
Okay.
This is another one.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Come
Champ
on.
Sports Bowl, the Russell Athletic Bowl, and the Camping World Bowl.
Yes.
World Bowl. This is the one that takes place at Camping World Stadium. They did not move this game to the soccer stadium because they're traditionalists. The Camping World Stadium is also the Citrus Bowl, correct? This is at the stadium that used to be called the Citrus Bowl.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
correct.
that's good. That's okay. That's it.
That's why I was saying when you said Tangerine Bowl, the Tangerine Bowl became the Citrus Bowl. I think I need to look this up. And so Orlando used to only host one bowl, and now we host 3. And so this is like the middle tier.
Yes, the Tangerine Bowl used to became the Citrus Bowl, but then the Blockbuster.com Bowl took the name of the Tangerine Bowl for 1 year.
Probably, but there used to not be 3 bowls, and there was only 1, and now there's 3. It's a lot. It's
the Grift circle is strong.
Yes, it is. It's very strong. It's very strong. Yes, because Purdue and LSU are also playing here like 2 days later.
Everyone, get that in your head. The higher tier bowl game.
People are definitely going to show up to the wrong one.
Has Purdue. Has Purdue, and the lower tier game has Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Ayo!
Mm-hmm.
This is also the bowl game that still has the Arizona flag in their logo because it used to be an Arizona Bowl and they just never changed the graphics. They took out the cactus, they put in palm trees.
It's great.
But it still has the Arizona flag. Anyone have anything on their heart about this bowl game that they're really excited to preview? Oklahoma offense, Oklahoma defense, anyone? No? Okay.
Oklahoma's 6-6, right?
We're gonna have.
Yeah, they're 6-6.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I look forward to being able to point and laugh at Oklahoma if they lose. That's all.
Thank you. That'll make my heart happy.
I'm excited to watch Jordan Travis.
It's going to be a game full of 2 bands that like to play one song that they.
Oh no!
That's true.
It's gonna be
No.
Oh.
Watching this one on mute.
It's going to be great.
I'm gonna spin my wheel. Okay.
Oh no!
I love where this is going.
His reaction.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I'm picking it.
Okay. I promise this is what came up. I'm not gonna re-roll. This is the Margaret Cabes Tangelo Bowl in Orlando, Florida at Camping World Stadium.
Number 18.
Perfect.
Number 18.
We're already there.
Margaret
It's
Cave's
beautiful.
Tangelo Bowl is a world-famous dish right here in Orlando. The native Orlandoans know and love that sweet, tangy flavor of our classic tangerine gelatin. In honor of Margaret's 100th birthday, the city of Orlando has decided to sponsor this game in her honor. Margaret Cave is the grandmother of the mayor. No one outside their family has ever had this dish. This is definitely a money laundering scheme.
Oh, for sure. If it's in Florida, it's money laundering. Yeah.
So now we gotta pick, guys.
If it's a bowl game, it's money
Also,
laundering.
great point, Blue. Great point.
So now we gotta pick between Orlando or Orlando. The Tangelo Bowl or the Cheez-It Bowl.
Since there's already another Cheez-It Bowl and it's the Cheez-It Citrus, we're going to go Tangelo here.
So
I'm going
it used to
Tangelo.
be hold on, I have to remember this. It used to be the VRBO Bowl, and Cheez-It just had the Citrus Bowl, and then Cheez-It
Right.
decided to buy both of them.
That's
It's very
right.
confusing. It's
So
very
let's take it
confusing.
away from them.
Big
Let's
Cheez-It.
take it away from them, and we're going to give it to Margaret and
I like that.
Tangelo. There we
I feel
go.
good about that.
You just want tangerine jello dumped
do.
on
That's it.
coach.
I mean,
Yeah.
Don't we all?
let's go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what so tangerine juice is also a key ingredient in Ecto Cooler?
Yes,
So-
it is.
So
I do that.
So we're gonna dump Ecto Cooler on the
Yes.
coach. I'm gonna declare that.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I think we're all in agreement on this.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
That stuff is in preppers bunkers all
I
over
love it.
America. It's still
I
good.
love it. Do want to point out that earlier in the season, Jordan was asking me about like my bowl game hopes and dreams, and I said the Citrus Bowl meaning this bowl, and he said I needed to hope for the Pinstripe Bowl, and I'm just very happy that my
There you go.
Knowles pulled it out
Mhm.
There you
and
go.
have pulled one close to me.
There
And
you
I
go.
get to go.
Yep, they're going to be playing and they're going to be playing an away game just right up the road to
Sure.
Orlando.
It's great.
Not even leaving the state.
Not even
Okay.
leaving the state. It's beautiful.
Good night, Katie.
It's beautiful. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
So let's see what else we got here. So we're back on. So on Wednesday, our next game is our favorite, the Liberty Bowl.
Liberty.
The Liberty Bowl, which helped save America from Watergate. No, this is the earlier one, right? Yeah, this one was founded in. This is the great one because it was founded in Philadelphia, which makes sense for something called the Liberty Bowl. And then they moved it to Atlantic City for 1 year, and they held it
That's right.
indoors.
Yep.
We did a post on this earlier, and we
Indoors,
found,
Perfect.
and we found out that we actually found
Perfect.
someone who had played in the game actually commented on the post.
That's an
And
all-season
he-
podcast for sure.
And yeah,
Just
he
that
said
game.
that it was like carpet over concrete because it's in Atlanta, in the big halls in Atlantic City, and that it just hurt.
With
It was
nails.
nothing
I
but
bet.
pain getting slammed into concrete repeatedly. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl is
That's what we used to call AstroTurf,
Yeah.
kids. Carpet over concrete.
The
so
burlap.
much.
Atlantic
the
City,
AutoZone
nothing but
Liberty
pain.
Bowl was formerly sponsored by AXA Financial or St. Jude, which or St. Jude, would have been nice, but No, it's AutoZone. This is in Memphis, the beautiful city of our beloved pyramid. You could have a bowl game in actual Memphis, right? When I say actual Memphis, I mean like Memphis, Egypt.
Maybe?
I think the Egyptian national soccer team plays in Cairo. So that would be a bit tough to transport that to Memphis, but it's right at the Nile.
I'm gonna type in
there has to be a soccer field there somewhere.
I'm gonna type in Memphis FC, but not that one, and see what I get.
Memphis, Egypt is a ruin. It is not currently inhabited.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, sure.
Still need a field. Still need a field.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, it looks like there's plenty of room there. Awesome. Okay, this is gonna be great. So when you're digging over ground that might have things in it, you just take the shovel and bulldoze, right? Like just go straight over it. Then you sift afterwards. Is that how that works?
There's some very
not sure.
archaeologists.
I'll ask my
yes. My apologies to our archaeology listeners who just cringed so hard they like fell off their chairs.
And then after you pour all the dirt into a pile, you take the little brush and you go
Archaeologist Twitter, comment on how we actually get things.
Livery Bowls, Arkansas and Kansas. The battle for all the Kansas.
Notably not Missouri.
Cowards.
I feel like
cowards.
I mean, he showed up to the basketball game
did.
with a sign. The coach of Missouri did. Great job, Eli. You're, man, such a nerd.
Clever. Real clever.
I honestly think that I'm just going to do this. I'm going to be nice here. But from reports that I read, the Liberty Bowl wanted Arkansas the whole time, not Mizzou. That's the bowl officials in Memphis wanted the Arkansas fans, not the Mizzou fans. So I'll let Mizzou snake out of this one. I'm going to let it out. I'm not going to hold it against them that they didn't want to play Kansas. I'll blame that Liberty.
You know who did want Kansas? You know who did want Missouri, though?
Who?
Kansas.
That's right.
I'm going to...
The Jayhawks.
I'm going to declare that whoever wins this game, we have to pronounce their state like the other state for the next year. So it's either going to be Arkansas or Kansas.
Okay.
I really hope it's Kansas.
I do too.
Kansas.
Let me spin my wheel. Number 8. This is the most recent Traveler's Breakfast Bowl presented by Tonga. This takes place in Fuamotu, Tonga, at Tupou College's field. It already has rugby goalposts. This bowl game was established by the Tongan royal family as a way to kickstart tourism to the islands. As the name implies, the winning team gets to eat whatever the most recent traveler, the last person to enter the stadium before kickoff, happened to eat for breakfast that day. Rules surrounding this were recently changed so that the winning players do not all have to share one serving of the most recent traveler's breakfast. So Memphis or Tonga?
So Tonga is a country in Oceania. If nobody knows where that is, it's really in the middle of nowhere, Oceania. I think the nearest it's nearest to Fiji.
It's Fiji and Niue and Samoa and Wallis
American
and Fortuna.
Samoa, yeah. So
there's things there.
Not much.
It is on the other side of the international date line.
It is basically the blind flight that they have to take.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten we're putting them on blind flights.
This would show up like where?
Arkansas to Memphis, and you're just sitting there, and you look out the window, and it's just water for a long. Like not even like Hawaii, where we can hide it.
The Mississippi River is kind of big.
Yeah, just tell them it's the Mississippi River.
It's a huge river.
Yeah, it's real. They call it the Muddy Mississippi. It's a huge river. Blue, Memphis or Tonga?
I think Tonga, because I want to see. Since we keep confiscating baseball diamonds, I want to see them use a rugby field for.
I like that a lot. Yeah, Michael.
Oh, I knew too many Tongans at BYU, and so if I didn't send a football game to Tonga, they'd come back and kill me. So I'm going Tonga.
There you go. Pitt Girl.
Oh, also absolutely Tonga. I think it's worth noting that rugby union is the national sport in Tonga, and their national team is pretty good. There is a whole side tangential history that I strongly recommend about like Pacific folks and football and rugby that one of my profs at Pitt actually wrote a book about. Check out The Tropic of Football by Rob Ruck to learn more. All of that to say, having taken a class with him, having read that book, all of this stuff, can't not send a football game to the South Pacific. So, Tonga.
Andrew?
There's a lot of Pacific Islander fear in this discussion, and I too am one of those people who would be afraid of Pacific Islanders, so let's send it to Tonga.
There we go. Blue?
Oh, he already...
Oh, sorry. My brain.
Stick it with Tonga.
I don't think my vote counts anymore. Like, really? We got 4 votes for Tonga. All right. No, they're going to Tonga. I don't care.
I gotta go to Tonga.
If you're in line,
That's right.
stay in line.
I mean, we need.
That's right.
If you're in line, stay in line. That's right. And they're going to Tonga, so we can crown the international national champion of Tonga. Either Arkansas, Arkansas, or is it Arkansas? Or Arkansas?
If you're on the flight to Tonga, stay on the flight to Tonga.
I love this. That we're gonna send them to Tonga because all of the fans are like, "Oh, Memphis is within driving distance." We're like, "No, no.
It's not.
You need a 24-hour flight to get here, and it's gonna be the next day when you arrive."
The day before.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the other side.
Oh God, I'm confused. Or is it the day after?
Hold up. I'm gonna look at DFW to Tonga flights real fast. Give me a second. Show flights.
They're flying west.
Okay.
So if they're flying west, they're crossing the international date line into tomorrow.
So I gotta
the 19th there. Yeah.
So I gotta go from DFW to LAX, LAX to Fiji,
Okay.
and then Fiji to Tonga. That's not too bad.
It's only 26
hours.
Not bad. Just hope your bags make
The
it.
LA Expert will take the longest.
All their football equipment should make it, no problem.
On Wednesday, we have the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. This RIP the Poinsettia Bowl, which is always great. I miss the Poinsettia Bowl. But now it's just the Holiday Bowl.
San Diego County Credit Union.
But now they also they also sponsor this bowl now too. So we have the Holiday Bowl sponsored by San Diego County Credit.
Right. It's played in Petco Park, so we get a baseball field here.
When are they going to move it to the nice new stadium that San Diego State has? Because there's a nice football stadium now in that town.
But that takes all the fun out of dumb bowl games in stupid baseball stadiums.
So from what I see,
it's right next to the Gaslight District, so you can go from the bar to the stadium.
That is true.
There you go.
What I still see is it's still in Petco Park. It may be moved in the future, but right now I still see Petco Park.
I hope that contract was worth it, y'all. This is gonna be North Carolina and Oregon, which ought to be a real banger of a game. Actually, probably the best game. Well, no, Texas Bowl will be pretty good too. But we're getting into sort of like those like low key, pretty good bowl games.
Yes.
Hopefully it's all gas, no brakes, but it might wind up 6-3 because everyone's sitting out.
There's a pretty good chance this game ends up absolutely just being nothing versus nothing. But Bo Nix is coming back, so Bo Nix should play. So we'll see what happens.
Is he healthy? The question. Like, can he play?
It's Bo Nix. I assume he's made out of, I don't know. What do they make things out of in Oregon?
Bo Nix says he's coming back for his next year too, so we're gonna get Bo Nix in a bowl game.
Yeah, ESPN does not specify in the article where it talks about how the Bo Nix experience will continue at Oregon for one more season. End quote. It does not mention if he will be playing in the bowl game. That is a promise and a threat.
It is a threat.
Let's see here. Our alternative game is
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. The Dr. Scholl's Insoles Bowl. Chicago, Illinois at Soldier Field.
Oh, God.
Home to where Dr. Scholl's insoles were invented. Dr. Scholl still wants to know if you're gelling like Magellan, and every single bowl participant gets 10 pairs of custom insoles. So we've got beautiful San Diego. Beautiful San Diego.
They don't expire.
Or Chicago. I mean, but you wear them down. Like, you have to get new ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm not old enough to think about this kind of thing yet.
Go to hell. Go to hell. My insoles are 3D printed, okay? They're great.
That's what Dr. Scholl's brings to you.
They're 3D printed and they're delightful. San Diego or Chicago? Mish?
Oh man. Just imagining Mac Brown in a puffy coat in Soldier Field for a bowl game. Just imagining that. Ooh.
Y'all, I'm cold.
I feel like that's mean. And I mean, I really don't. Mac Brown freezing.
Y'all, I gotta go warm up, y'all. I'm gonna come back. I'll come back at the half. I'll see y'all at the half.
The wind's gonna be swirling. It's gonna be in Chicago. Oh my God.
Y'all get me one of them space heaters. I'm real cool.
Oh man.
Mac Brown's going in the tent.
Or to play in a baseball field in San Diego. In nice, luxurious San Diego. I mean, Oregon will probably play in relatively similar weather to what they get there in Eugene.
Oh no.
It wouldn't be
No. Well, that's very different weather.
Worst. Yes. Probably worse. Okay, just to put Mac Brown in a puffy coat, I'm sending him to Chicago.
Blue?
I can't in good conscience send anyone to play football at Soldier Field. I can't. I can't do it. This game is staying in San Diego. Haven't these players suffered enough?
Pitt Girl?
I hate UNC. They're going to Chicago.
Okay.
The Pitt hatred coming
Michael?
out.
Mac Brown abandoned a BYU game broadcast. I'm always sending him to the worst place possible, so go to Chicago.
Was it a BYU game? I don't remember what that was.
It was a BYU game.
He left in the third quarter of a game against Toledo.
I gotta go catch a flight, y'all. Remember that. Andrew, where are they going?
Man, this is difficult. I think I'm going to keep them in San Diego. I think it's too mean to the players.
Oh, so my vote
In
counts
Chicago
now.
This time of year.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We get a potential coin flip.
Time for some campaign.
If I go Chicago as a tie, if I go San Diego wins.
No. If you go
No,
San
if
Diego,
Chicago,
it's
Chicago
a tie.
wins.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Chicago then. 100% Chicago. They're going to Chicago.
Okay.
They're going to Chicago.
Mac Brown
Y'all-
eating Italian beef.
This is
Y'all,
corruption.
I want.
This
Y'all,
is
I want
corruption.
an Italian beef sandwich. I want it dipped. I want it a juicy.
You know what else this means?
Hello.
We can make Mac Brown try Malort.
Oh,
Oh,
Mac Brown doesn't like. It tastes like pencil shavings, y'all. It tastes like pencil shavings and gasoline.
Mac Brown eating.
I also think he would refuse to eat deep dish on like
Oh, yeah.
principle or something.
That's too much bread.
It's all.
I eat a
Mac-
Chicago dog.
Mac Brown's on a low carb diet now. Y'all heard of that South Beach? Mac Brown slimming down.
I do just want to point out one thing real quick. This is Fox's first bowl game broadcast since 2019, since all of their other bowl games had been canceled every year since then.
How did they get this? How did they get this bowl?
They
This
got
Gus
the
Johnson
Holiday
bowl
Bowl
probably
in
made it.
2017 when ESPN failed to renew the contract, and then they got the Poinsettia Bowl, which now doesn't exist, and then they got the Redbox Bowl, which also doesn't exist. And so this is the only one that's left. And since the Holiday Bowl didn't get played last year or 2020, this is their first since 2019.
So that must be why they're putting this on at basically the same time as the Texas Bowl, which is Ole Miss and Texas Tech. Texas Tech, which has had a better year than everyone thought they were going to have. Ole Miss, which had an okay year. You know, Lane's doing his thing. Lane is still living his best poster lifestyle, so I dig that. Lane has the dog Twitter account. Do you follow Juice Kiffin's Twitter account?
I didn't know Juice Kiffin had a Twitter account.
Juice
Yes.
Kiffin has a Twitter account.
Yes.
His dog.
My life is
and
about to improve. Excellent.
It is. It's a great follow. They're real cute. Texas Bowl is in Houston at NRG Stadium. This is the same bowl that was once. No, this bowl was brand new as of 2011. Sorry. This was the Meineke Car Care Bowl, the Advocare Bowl, the Academy Sports and Outdoors Bowl, the Mercari Bowl. I don't know who that is. Their main product is a financial. Oh, they're a Japanese concern. Okay.
Of course it is.
They're a Japanese e-commerce company. That's why you host a bowl in Texas.
Perfect.
And that bowl game was canceled actually, and then they never sponsored it again. So that game never happened. Now it's the Tax Act Bowl, which isn't even the most interesting tax software bowl.
Tax Slayer Bowl.
I just
Yeah,
want to
this is
say
also-
that this game, the over under is 69.5 points.
Nice.
Nice in a bit.
That's
Nice in a
excellent.
bit.
I'm gonna watch this for the track meet
Let's hope.
possibilities. I have got to get it. I got to get one track meet in bowl season. I hope this is.
This is not, however, the same as the Bluebonnet Bowl, which is also the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl, which is the bowl game played in Rice Stadium for a bit or at the Astrodome.
Was the game condemned like the race to the stadium was, or at least the second deck?
Basically, yes. Someone pointed out very roughly, by the way, that the top deck is not condemned. It is just in very poor repair and unsafe. Okay, that's very different.
I just want to point out. I would point out that Rice Stadium is probably safer for the players' ACLs than the Astrodome ever was.
I'm gonna send you guys a picture real fast of the Astrodome dedication.
Do we
This
know
is an
about how
image-
long the dugouts were at the Astrodome?
I don't.
Just like absurdly
it's
large.
the shooting the guns to
Yeah,
break the ground.
the
Yes.
Astro- Yeah, so when they were groundbreaking, because the baseball team that was the Houston Colt
The
40,
Colt 45s.
Colt 45s. And
Yes.
so I'll post this with the podcast. They didn't break ground with a shovel. They
Nope.
broke ground with revolvers.
Sorry, Colt 45s.
So it's a bunch of dudes pointing guns at the ground.
Guys being dudes
The
shoot.
most Texas
No.
thing I've ever seen.
Guys being dudes shooting at the ground to break ground for a new stadium. Thank you, Texas.
That would then go on to snap more ACLs
Mhm.
than just any other stadium in
Mhm.
America.
The fact that also this was built in 1962 and advertised itself as the world's first air-conditioned dome stadium Makes it even funnier that the Carrier Dome didn't have air conditioning because it wasn't built until 1980. We had the technology.
We have the Boudin Bowl in Lafayette. Did I say it right, Boudin?
It's Boudin, but yes, it's close.
Boudin. Oh, did I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Yeah,
Boudin? Boudin.
Yes.
Boudin.
Wow, that's really new for you.
Hey, all y'all. It's in Lafayette, Louisiana, at Cajun Field. This is number 32 on our thing. Cajun Boudin is Boudin? Why do I say it weird?
It's Boudin.
Boudin. So I said.
Just think the I at the end is an A, and you're fine. All right.
Cajun Buddha is available most readily in southern Louisiana, particularly in the Scott, 4 miles from Lafayette, and considered to be the Buddha capital of the world. New Iberia and Lafayette areas, though it can be found anywhere in Cajun country. The Boudin Bowl, Cajun cuisine staple, wanted to host a bowl game just to give publicity to the Cajun delicacy. It's like sausage with rice and stuff in it, right?
That's right. It's basically I won't go too far in detail what could be in it, but it's just basically like dirty rice and a sausage casing. Just as we can get more technical, but you can't even say boudin, so I'm not gonna go more technical.
Dirty rice and a sausage casing sounds like me after a trip to like Popeyes.
There you go. That's about right.
So we have
Bowl.
Houston or Lafayette, Louisiana. Again, they pair well together.
They do.
One swamp or the other. Okay, Kamish?
Like I don't like the school that's there. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big ULM homer. The fact that they would probably have people trying to make boudin with this bowl instead of just like Houston, general Houston stuff. I want to send them to Lafayette. Let's send them to Lafayette. Let's take them on a tour of the Tabasco hot sauce plant in Avery Island, not too far away. Let's do all the Cajun stuff you can. Take them to Scott, Louisiana, the boudin capital of the world, exit 97 on I-10, and let them enjoy all of the cracklings and the good stuff that you could get there.
Blue?
Yeah, I'm also going to send them to the Boudin Bowl as well. I mean, I think, like you said, the Tabasco is there, and, Louisiana could always use another bowl game.
Girl?
Those who have spoken before me have made a sufficiently persuasive case. I have nothing to add.
Michael?
See, I'm keep sticking with the Texas Bowl because I love Texas teams playing in the Texas Bowl and then just forgetting how to play football. And so that's why I'm sticking with the Texas Bowl.
Andrew?
I'm convinced by the prior arguments about moving it to Louisiana, so let's do it.
I'm going to move them to Louisiana because it looks like the team luncheon is going to be at a Hilton. And that's lame when you're in Houston.
Sorry,
that is lame. They should take them to Ninfa's.
On the 29th, we have our beloved Pinstripe Bowl. 1 p.m. Central, Minnesota and Syracuse.
I'll be there.
Bye, Blue.
Bye, Blue.
We're gonna have to do bye, Blue. We're gonna have to do a Pinstripe Bowl lore podcast, so I could just go off because this podcast has been very long, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. But I could go off about this. But let's talk about the game.
Minnesota,
Syracuse had such a weird year. They are beautiful. Are they back? Are they good? The answer may still be up in the air if they can hang with Minnesota. The end of Minnesota's last game against Wisconsin, extremely sickos, off the charts. So we'll see what happens in this game. I'm excited.
Can you describe one Minnesota game for me from this year? Anyone?
Yeah.
What game? I don't remember. This Minnesota season's like a blank to me.
Well, I mean, they did blank New Mexico State 38-0.
Oh, that's right. The Jerry Kill return match.
The Jerry Kill return match. Also, the Axe game, which was the last one, which was insane.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I remember. You're right.
That was
all the false starts.
All the false starts to back up Wisconsin.
Wisconsin fans are turning off the podcast now.
Sorry, Wisconsin fans. Sorry. Gophers fans are like, turn it up. We got the Axe, baby.
Well, this game is sort of interesting in the matchup front also because Minnesota was statistically very, very good at the beginning of the season, and Syracuse was like, Syracuse is good, right? And then they both kind of So we'll see who's got battle for Paul Bunyan's axe notwithstanding. So we'll see how this shakes out in New York City.
Minnesota lost to Iowa.
Yeah.
13-10. I'd forgotten about that one too.
They can't beat Iowa. There's this weird thing that they just cannot beat Iowa. Lately, it's just like one of those stumbling blocks. But I'm gonna really love. I hope that we get to pinstripe both of these logos for sure. I want to see
Yes.
the maroon and gold
Yeah.
Gopher colors, and then I want to see the pinstripe of the navy blue and orange.
Yep, got
for
it.
the
Easy.
Syracuse
We can do
orange.
that.
Done.
Wait, there's
Do it.
something wrong with that.
Why is that wrong? What's
Mets
wrong
fans,
with that?
because Mets fans will love that.
Mets fans would
Yeah.
really love that. That's why.
Our alternate bowl is the number 23, the Pampers Electrical Bowl.
What?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
It's at Nippert Stadium. Pampers introduces their new line of toys to help create the next generation of electricians. Included are wires and batteries to help stimulate your child into learning about electricity. This product has also been recalled after every single product to sale led to lawsuits. Cincy or New York City?
So it's at Nippert Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're playing in Pinstripe.
I'm going to vote
Stadium.
first. I'm going to vote first on this one, just out of
Go ahead.
spite. They're going to New York. It's Syracuse's New York Street. What's your team? Mish?
Rutgers is going to fight you. Let somebody else go. I'll go last. That's fine.
Okay. Pitt Girl?
I will also keep them in New York. Having been to the Pinstripe Bowl, it is sufficiently sickos in and of itself. It does not need to be moved. Although I will say that I'm a little bit sad that New Era isn't the sponsor anymore because they're not going to be giving out free scarves anymore. And the scarves were actually very high quality.
Maybe they need bad boy scarves. Bad boy more scarves.
Yes!
Yeah.
Andrew?
To cut your grass in the winter.
I don't really want to travel to Cincinnati, so I'd rather just stay here.
Mhm.
I mean, no offense to Cincinnati. Nippert Stadium looks gorgeous. I do want to go to a game there, especially if the crazy Big 12 happens and Oklahoma or Texas are there. I'm going to go. But all that being said, let's leave it in New York.
Michael?
Oh yeah, I'm on team keep the Pinstripe Bowl going. I mean, how can you take away the Rose Bowl of the East?
Right. Can't do it. I still laugh that when we actually started looking up on the wiki page, somebody put in affectionately known as the Rose Bowl of the East, and then they had to edit it. I forgot what bowl tagged the Pinstripe Bowl. It was like, hey man, you guys need to edit your Wikipedia page and get that out of there.
Come get your man.
Come get your man. Like, what is up with this? I forgot what bowl it was. I don't know if it was the Mayo Bowl. It may have been the Mayo Bowl that did that. But it's staying in New York.
I'm very much keeping them in New York. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, one more game, and that is going to be our... Sorry, get the right thing back up. What's the last bowl, guys? Someone help me.
The Alamo Bowl.
Alamo.
Oh, I forgot the Alamo. I literally did not remember the Alamo.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
No.
Jordan, you have to, that's it. You're done. You
I
have
literally
to
forgot the Alamo.
Your Texas citizenship
You're
card has been
done.
revoked.
How could you cannot
You have
edit
to
this
move to
out that you
Oklahoma
forgot the
now.
Alamo. You never, you gotta always remember the Alamo.
I literally forgot the Alamo. If y'all ever get the chance to go to this game, please go. If you're not from San Antonio and you haven't done the San Antonio tourist thing, it's a lot of fun. The river walk downtown is pretty cool. It's a little touristy. You get to sit by the river, and they got the mariachi coming by singing, and there's lots of restaurants. And it's just San Antonio is a very cool town. I like it a lot. If you live in San Antonio like Kamish does, you want to be nowhere near downtown, and I get
That's
that.
right, yeah.
Because that's all touristy shit, and I don't want to do that. I get that.
Basically that's what when I lived in New Orleans it was like I'd never went to the French Quarter.
Yeah,
unless I had to, and then now I live in San Antonio. I was like I don't go near the Riverwalk or anything. It's great for a vacation, but living here, it's like you try to avoid that area as much as possible. I have been to the Alamo Bowl a few times. I think the last one I went to was Texas A&M versus Penn State game. I think it was like 2007 when I first
2007. Yep.
Yeah, that was very weird because both of them were just like, okay, you're really culty, and then Penn State was like, hey, we're culty too. And then by the third quarter, everybody was friends. It was very strange. It was so strange. I can't remember who even won the game. I think A&M, maybe. I don't know.
No, Penn State won that one 24-17.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good game. In the section, they're doing like the kissing and whooping and sawing them off, and the Penn State fans are just looking at them all crazy. It was a blast. It was fun to be there, but I was just from New Orleans, not really knowing either of these teams' traditions. Just incredibly like, what did I get myself into?
This game is almost always just basically all gas.
Yes.
Because it is the Pac-12, Big 12 game, and it's usually sort of the second or third tier in both of those conferences. So you end up with games with scores of like 47-32 or 40-35, or TCU 47, Oregon 41, where Gary Patterson had to change his shirt at halftime and got the magic back.
Yeah.
I mean, this bowl even got Stanford up to 37 points at one point. So this was,
This
clearly
is
there's some magic in San Antonio.
It's Texas versus Washington, which I feel like it's going to be a great game. I don't think I'm going to be able to attend this year.
Texas surprise, surprise. Texas travels very well an hour from their stadium.
It's one. It's kind of just like I don't know how many Texas fans will show up, but there's a lot of Texas fans that live in San Antonio. They just show up for this one. They ain't got to go anywhere. Yeah, it'll be a crazy game. I think Washington will travel well. I think it'll be a great, fun game. But let's see where we're sending them, or if they stay here.
Let's see where we're sending them. By the way, the cheapest tickets I can find are $70.
Yeah,
I'm not paying $70 to go to the Cotton Bowl. Just put that in perspective.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not. I think I got in-laws coming that weekend too, so I don't think I could duck out on a Thursday for that. So
spinning it, and we are at the number 41, the Pickle Bowl in Lancaster, PA. Is that how you pronounce it, Lancaster?
Absolutely fucking not. This is something that people who are from there, which includes me, are very particular about.
Okay, let me say it.
Lancaster.
Oh, I wanted to try.
Lancaster.
It's just one.
Lancaster. What did I say?
Lancaster.
You're still saying it wrong.
Lancaster, California.
Lancaster,
Pennsylvania.
Lancaster.
No.
Yeah, better.
Okay, it's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, at Shattuck Stadium of Memorial Franklin and Marshall College. Shattuck Stadium? Probably Shattuck Stadium. Okay. Giant pickle jar trophy hosted in Pennsylvania Dutch area, as they are known for pickling everything known to man. So either we have Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or we have San Antonio, Texas.
Lancaster.
I'm saying Lancaster.
Mobile.
You just said it wrong again.
It's Mobile.
Just stop saying it. Stop.
I'm seriously considering, I'm seriously worried that, my pronunciation, my ability to, hear wording is wrong. Lancaster.
If it makes you feel better. If it makes you feel better, my mom is originally from Connecticut, and we moved to Lancaster when I was 5. And we lived there. They just moved to Massachusetts last year. The entire 20 years that we lived there, she pronounced it wrong the whole time too.
Yeah. She and I are kindred spirits, apparently. So either to a city in Pennsylvania or to San Antonio. Kamish, do you want them in your town?
Do I want all these Longhorn fans and Husky fans in the town?
Yeah.
Then we could, tell the Washington fans, be like, hey, go to the Alamo and then ask them about the basement.
Yeah, do that. Classic.
Yeah, the classic touristy joke that you'll get every time. If you didn't know, there is no basement. So that's the joke.
That's what goes for a joke around here.
Yes, that's the classic San Antonio humor. No, I can't take them out of San Antonio. I feel like the Alamo Bowl is kind of a staple of bowl season, even though that I want these folks to experience pickled beet eggs that I learned about on a podcast.
Eggs don't have beets don't have eggs.
Pickled beet eggs.
Red beet eggs.
Red beet eggs?
Yes.
Google it. It's purple.
Yeah, they're pickled eggs. You make them in a big jar.
I've had these.
Obnoxiously, Pitt Boyfriend's family makes them. Yes, pickled eggs with red beets, so then they're red beet eggs.
Yes, red beet eggs.
Sounds great. Okay,
no,
Michael?
I'm keeping them in.
I love the Alamo Bowl. I can't get rid of it, even though I just really want it to be moved to Lancaster, just so I can hear Jordan say it again and again. But I got to keep the Alamo Bowl.
Andrew?
Let's keep him in San Antonio. San Antonio has a Riverwalk and presumably pickled products of all types at the grocery store.
They do have something called hot pickles. They do have some pickled candy. Also, there's something known as a Piccadilly, which is a raspa with pickles and gummy bears, and you get that in South Texas. Jordan's his eyes lit up when I mentioned it.
I love Piccadillys.
Oh man, they're so good. There's gummy bears in this thing, and I'm like, what am I eating? But it's delicious.
And tamarind and chili, a little chili powder and Kool-Aid, little Kool-Aid, and yeah, it's great.
Good stuff.
And then pickle popsicles too in San Antonio, which are very good.
Pickle pops
are great.
You get those. Those are. I think they sell the pickle juice as a sports drink down here too. I don't know if that's up there.
Yeah.
Okay. It may have made it up there.
Pitt Girl, we sending them to your neck of the woods?
Obviously, yeah. We'll take them to Central Market. We'll take them to Springhouse Brewing. Show them a good time and a bowl game that's in Pennsylvania. which there should be one.
I'm going to send them to Lancaster as well, just so I can keep saying it.
That is in any other state but Pennsylvania. There are many Lancasters. There's one Lancaster.
I assume in Britain, that would be like Lincolnshire or whatever.
Yeah, so my Siri on my phone is set to British because he pronounces Lancaster correctly.
Oh, there you go. Good to know. Well, this was a podcast, guys. We talked about lots of things. We will be back next time to cover the rest of the bowls and do little brief previews. And yeah, Kamish, you got anything else?
No, just keep donating. There may be a special appearance that I don't know when this is coming out, so the commission may wind up on the Paul Feinbaum show.
On Feinbaum, yeah.
On Monday after the Myrtle Beach Bowl. That may be happening, which I still am in disbelief. So that may have happened. And also maybe the Cedar Rapids local news to plug our fundraiser on Tuesday. So please donate if you can. Enter in the raffle. $10 minimum entry. Just it basically supports food for families. You can serve maybe almost like a family of 4 for about $10 of a donation. So please donate if you can, and then you can win the raffle. I've had some people that said they don't want to enter the raffle, they just want to donate. So hopefully we can get this going, and we just want to beat our goal for last year because we have so many more followers. So keep it going, keep donating. We definitely do appreciate it.
Well, everyone, we will see you on the other side.